Hey you guys, welcome back to another CC Reacts where we watch the fun, weird, crazy, and interesting and question everything. Are these videos real or fake? You decide, let me know, leave it in the comments. I will definitely catch up with you there. The video is for entertainment purposes only. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it.
Have you ever heard the term flowers are blooming in Antarctica?
No, I actually seen some shit about that. Like that, it's like a really
Bad
thing.
Yeah, they're
that
saying it's like a bad
yeah.
omen, and it's actually happening,
Yeah, it's
right?
happening now.
Because they're saying it's like another saying, like
it's snowing in Florida. Type,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
type
Shit like
yes,
that.
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And basically, bruh, apparently there's been some flowers that have been growing in Antarctica right now.
It's like the reason why it's really bad is because like
No, I'm gonna get
nothing's
into
supposed to grow.
No, exactly.
In Antarctica,
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna say nothing is supposed to grow out there, and that just shows how hot it's getting over there, bro. You know what I mean? The fact that flowers are able to grow where there's snow.
It's like there's like pink, like little pink flowers,
Yes, it's
right?
like pink flowers and like yellow flowers and all these like
Colorful
flowers that you'll
flowers,
find like in the jungle or in the da da da.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And basically what scientists said is if that happens, like you said, bro, this is doomsday for us because they said if Antarctica melts, the rest of the world is gonna have to deal with that issue. And it's not, and I don't mean that we're all gonna have to go over there and fix it. I'm saying, regardless of how we feel or not, this motherfucker is going to flood the rest of the world. So a lot of the sea levels everywhere else is gonna rise like crazy. They said cities like LA and New York are going to be fully submerged underwater if Antarctica melts. So they were like, bruh, it's gonna be and
like San Francisco, like all these cities, bro. Yeah, like
but they were just saying like the really big ones, bro, like that.
Yeah.
They said even them are not gonna exist anymore. Bro.
And weren't you telling me like that New York is already down there?
And they said, yeah, New York is already sinking. They said every like year it sinks a centimeter.
I have never heard that term, but when it comes to Antarctica, I also don't believe anything that we are told about it, not through mainstream or anything else.
I don't actually know how to explain what I'm seeing here, but this is like interactive art, but that's not a digital screen. This is real, that's like hardware, like actual hardware with different colors up the board that flip to different sides. And when it flips, it's on gold, and when you're away from it, it's green and fades to blue. But these cameras in the bottom here, look, if I put up my hand, that's real, like you could hear it. These little things moving. What on? That's the wildest thing. Like you can see me with my phone.
That's pretty cool.
That is bonkers. Oh, and then it freezes you.
Insane.
I mean, it's
I've never seen like
130,000 AD, but it's cool.
yeah, I don't know. Oh, wait, what? No way. I wouldn't have believed it if I didn't see it.
What you are looking at is not an animal being attacked. That is the dwarf sperm whale. It may appear as though blood is everywhere, which seems scary. However, it's not actual blood. In moments of panic, such as when being chased by aggressive sea lions, the sperm whale releases a dark red liquid from its intestines. This ink helps to confuse the sea lion and allows the whale to get away safely.
Where is this? I have been and seen a lot of frozen lakes in my time. I've never seen ice do that. I would like to know where that is and how and why.
Systems running this country, right? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And to the republic
for which
it
it
stands. Yeah.
right? So there's a republic and there's a democracy, and they don't want you to know about that.
You said you're a nationalist, right?
Yeah, I'm a statesman, if you will.
Okay. You're what, 40? How old
43.
And you think that being a U.S. citizen is what you strive for, right?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I have rights. That's
Yeah.
like you guys have privileges granted to you by the government. I have rights.
What does that mean?
What does that mean is that
Yeah.
they can mandate you to take a shot if they want to.
How does that work within the laws? So are you mandated to drive 55 miles per hour?
See, the answer is no. I'm not.
I knew
I'm
that
not.
was coming.
It's a city ordinance violation, and I have constitutional rights.
Yeah.
Right. And one of those is I can travel across this country. You can't impede my right to travel if I'm not breaking the law.
Okay.
And the speed limit is not a law. It's a city ordinance violation. And according to Black's Law's Dictionary, which every court in the country goes by, the definition of a crime is when I commit harm to a person or entity, which I'm not doing any harm to a person or entity by going 80 and a 55. Now, I don't drive around speeding everywhere. Because
No,
I believe
I'm trying to use that as an example.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I do know if I get pulled over, it's going to probably cause me more trouble than I need. There are currently 2 systems running.
That was really interesting. I know I have heard that before. I wonder how many people stand their ground and use that in situations like that. Have you? Does it work? I would also love to know that too. Is it something where it works, or is it fought against in the moment? I wonder if it's like one of these campaigns, little stoves. Okay, this should be remembered because we do not know what's around the corner. I like this. Nice.
Winnipeg, what the fuck is this? No, like, what the actual fuck is this? This is a public notice that some people have been receiving about ground squirrel control. It says ground squirrels are making parks and open spaces dangerous. People can step in their holes and easily get hurt. This year, we will be controlling ground squirrels with a pesticide control program. We will be using a sulfur gas on athletic fields and high-use pedestrian areas on public property. This gas is called Giant Destroyer. Sounds really gentle, humane, painless, and ethical. Please submit any written objections within 15 days of this publication to Manitoba Environment and Climate Change Environmental Approvals Bench. In other words, they're saying, let us know if you object to us killing the animals just trying to exist in their once natural habitat before we took over. When are people going to realize that wildlife is not inconvenient and they are not pests? We obliterated their natural habitats with our houses, our buildings, our roads. They are just trying to exist and survive in whatever land we have left for them, and it's getting to be slim pickings. And not to mention the total irony of this coming from the Manitoba Climate Change and Environmental Bench. Here's the data sheet, including the risks the Giant Destroyer poses. Pause if you'd like to read it. So if you also oppose this ridiculous and barbaric misusage of taxpayer dollars, let them know.
I personally don't know, what is the havoc squirrels would cause. I know certain places they do a culling on wolves or boars, right? So squirrels, I don't know, but if you know, I'd love to hear it. I think that is a little bit crazy. But then again, I don't know. What is the damage? Holes in the ground. I love the animals, so it's a little bit excessive to me.
Sheriff in California is upset because they got this new law that basically is the opposite of stand your ground. It's run away. And they do have this in other blue states. Get this. If you are in your own home and someone breaks in with clear intent to cause you harm, they are saying you must flee from your own home. Yo, check this out.
Hello, California. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. For more than a decade, the leadership in Sacramento has literally tied the hands of law enforcement and made it almost impossible for us to protect you. Now, They are coming after you and your ability to protect yourself. Under a new bill, AB 1333, by California Assembly Member from Santa Monica, Rick Chavez Spur, you will no longer be allowed to protect yourself when confronted by violent criminals. Under this bill, if a criminal attacks you or your family and you defend yourself, and that criminal dies as a result of his criminal behavior, you could be arrested and charged with murder.
So the sheriff in California is upset because they got this new law that
What is happening? My brain is not able to process that information that it just grabbed. That makes absolutely no sense. Somebody, please explain this to me. Why? What would be the agenda behind that, really? Because that makes no sense for the safety of the people, to protect yourself or your family.
Consumers are unaware that the fruit they eat from the supermarket has been treated with a product called Smart Fresh. I want you to see it in action. First, they place the fruit in a hermetically sealed chamber. Then they drop the Smart Fresh into some water to form a gas, and then they lock up the gas chamber nice and tight. They leave the fruit there for about 24 hours so that it can soak up all the gas, and voila, your fruit has been contaminated. I mean Smart Fresh. Now let's look at an apple that's been treated with Smart Fresh and compare it to an apple that hasn't been treated with Smart Fresh. This time-lapse video shows the changes over 3 months. As you can see, the Smart Fresh apple hasn't changed. Most people don't even realize that the fruit they buy at the grocery store can literally be a year old before it's actually sold, and you wouldn't know the difference. Let's see what the makers of Smart Fresh have to say about their product. They say the active ingredient of Smart Fresh is methyl cyclopropene, or MCP. They describe it as a simple hydrocarbon molecule. Well, examples of simple hydrocarbons are as follows: butane, propane, and even hexane. It turns out they're gassing the fruit with petroleum-based products, ladies and gentlemen. Now they just call it a simple hydrocarbon so that nobody worries about it. I mean, who doesn't like a little diesel with their fruit, right? Their website also states that this can be used with other fruits and vegetables. Smart Fresh is authorized for use with organic foods. And the worst part here is that people are totally unaware.
I've actually noticed stuff like this. The fruit lasts longer, but also bread does not mold as quick as it used to. Small things like when I'm going through my kitchen, like I bought that a while ago, like it's time to throw it out. And then there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not even to the point where I try it, but physically, like looking at it, why is it still okay? Growing up, we bought fruit, we ate it because we had a couple days, it had a shelf life, it was going bad. I don't know, have you guys noticed this? No. There's no way. Um, um, I'm like kidding me. There's no way. I gotta see the coming down. You guys, I don't know. Was that like very cleverly stitched together, put together? I don't know. I feel like that can't be. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, wow. go here? I need to find out how. I need to get there. I would be at so much peace and relaxed and in a lovely bubble of life right there. I love that. I love moments like that we can see where animals just they remember. They remember the people who cared for them and treated them well and loved them. And I love that video. Right, you guys, for real. It is 6:02 a.m. I've been up since 4. I have spent my morning cleaning up garbage. Bear came back alone this time, no date. And my headspace is kind of like everywhere. I don't feel like I'm really here recording, but the sun is coming up on the water. So I'm going to go drive and watch it, click on live for an hour, just start my day right. You know, when you start your day wrong, then everything kind of follows this pattern, or so it feels. So I love you guys. I'm going to go to the water, have my coffee, do an hour live, come back, finish recording, have me presently here to get this video done today. Okay? So maybe I will see you in the live. If not, you'll enjoy the video hopefully later. And I'm also here enjoying doing the video because I'm just not there right now. These bears are getting on my nerve, and I will post the video of the bears to the post page so you can see what I've been dealing with 3 times this week. All right, I'll be back soon. Sunrise was amazing. I needed that. I did pop it on for a live for anybody who was scrolling past and could see it, and some people did join. Thank you, Jean, and News Watchman popped in for a moment, so that was great. But really, it was a reset I needed. And guess what? When I came home, Bear was here. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. Like, what am I going to do? When I've got garbage in the garage, I had 1 can with some eggshells in it, but mostly like cardboard that I need to take to the dump. And he had everything ripped open, so I don't know. And there's my hat line. But we'll get back into the video now, you guys.
How far do you believe we are from having an AI operating 24/7 at the level of a junior engineer?
Not that far. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that 6 weeks or 6 years or?
Every year in AI seems like a dog 7 or something. I will claim that's probably possible in the next yearish. Yeah.
I'm not a professional by any means, just what I can observe. I fearfully think could be right a year. I mean, even those grocery carts, you go into the store, you can do everything like purchase from that cart. You don't need an interaction with a human being at all. He might be right, a year. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but it's not just Alberta that has some of the biggest oil and gas reserves in the world. BC actually has quite a lot of it too. So it came to a huge surprise to me that BC is actually now going to have to import electricity from the United States for the 3rd year in a row. Because of the drier, warmer weather in much of BC last month, it caused an early melt. That drought, in turn, creates an inability for BC to generate hydroelectricity, where most of the province's power comes from. And this is directly from Barry Penner, who's the former provincial environment minister who now chairs the Energy Futures Institute. He said that BC is on track to become a net importer of electricity in 2025, buying it from the United States for the third year in a row. And he said we have someone in the White House who's actively threatening our country economically. And right now in BC, it's us on the receiving end of the electricity from the United States. It's not the other way around on a net basis. And he likened the snowpack to electricity in the bank. Why? I don't understand why. Like how we have so much natural gas. We don't need energy from anyone in any country at any given point in time. Unreal. I'm not sure if
And I don't know what part of BC he was talking about where it was so warm, because here it had been freezing. We had 1 week last month where I live where it was warm. Otherwise, it's been raining. So I'm a little confused of where that information came from as BC as a whole with its warm weather.
This is the smallest handmade sculpture in history.
My name is Willard Wigan and I made it.
I'm gonna show you 5 micro sculptures from largest to smallest, starting with the biggest one. Number 5 is the lady playing the violin, and it's around the thickness of the human hair. What's the smallest detail in this sculpture?
The violin.
Can you show the tools that you use?
I have this one here, little hook on the end. This is a syringe, it's got a hole in the front. The strings on the violin was very complicated because you have to find something small enough to make the strings. I came up with a technique. You see all the little fibres floating? I'll catch them and then put them underneath the microscope. And then I'll see a fibre. Then I'll take the fibre off and that becomes a string for the violin.
Crazy. Number 4 is the world's strongest man, Eddie Hall.
You've got to get the portion right and you have to make it look like him. One mistake and it won't look like it was supposed to look like. I work between my heartbeat. So then I stop. When it stops, then I move. When it stops, then I move.
Wow. And when it comes to painting with your lashes?
So I get some tape and I put it on the pillow. Then I put it underneath the microscope and I look and I can see an eyelash. Take one of those. That's a paintbrush.
Number 3 is the coronation carriage. What's the significance of this sculpture?
Well, it was during Queen's 70th year. I made this as to commemorate that time. The wheels have to be completely round. The carriage itself is individually built.
What was her reaction?
When she looked down the microscope, she's like, I don't believe this. It gives me so much satisfaction when other people see the work. So much time, like sitting here for 16 hours, sometimes even longer, suffering for the artwork because it's driving you mad. I'll be working away and I'll fall asleep. One time, see, I was working like this, eyes pressed against a microscope, and I fell asleep like this. And when I woke up, there was 2 round circles.
Number 2 is the polar bear. It's seemingly such a stressful job. How old are you?
67.
But you look so young.
I think it's because I keep holding my breath. Or it could be, I think I'm black version of Peter Pan.
How much was your most expensive piece?
Well, that went, I think, $500,000.
How does it feel to be the best in the world?
I feel the same as you. I'm just the same as anybody else. It was difficult for me at school because I have autism, because it wasn't diagnosed at the time. So I found another way. I hold my breath.
Yeah, I'm done. And this is the smallest one. Shakespeare inside of a human hair. Your hair.
Inside one of those. The Shakespeare was carved from dust.
Sorry?
Made from dust.
How?
Carve the shape out. Once I've got the shape of Shakespeare, all I do now is to paint it. I couldn't paint it with an eyelash, so I had to paint it with another piece of dust.
Wow.
The eyelash is too big.
That is new to me. I had no idea that art or sculptures were on that level. I've never seen it, never heard of it. I think that is fantastic. I loved that. This guy is on another level. So cool.
I think before the flood came, things were a whole lot different. With increased oxygen, you would heal up much faster. How many of you remember baby Jessica that fell into the well in Texas? 18 months old. Her left leg slipped down in a pipe. Her right leg came up behind her, and she did the splits as she slid down inside an 8-inch steel pipe. She went down 20 feet and was stuck there for 2.5 days. They tore up the whole neighborhood trying to get that kid out of that well. It was on the news about every 15 minutes. Remember that? You know, baby Jessica's still alive. Well, they finally got her out of that well. Lots of her body had turned black from lack of circulation. Her right leg was totally black because it had been twisted around and stuck in her face from behind, doing the splits. One of the doctors said, we have to cut her leg off immediately. Another doctor said, hey, before we cut the leg off, let's just try putting her in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. You know what? Hyperbaric oxygen. They put Jessica in one of these chambers, filled it up full of pure oxygen, and pumped it up to double normal pressure. Within a few hours, her leg turned pink. They restored circulation. They saved her leg. They did have to amputate half of her little toe, okay? They couldn't save that. It beats losing a leg by a long shot. By the way, do you know what you call a girl if one leg is shorter than the other? Eileen. Just a little bit of trivia there, okay? There's a chamber in Pensacola, Florida. Holds 30 people in an emergency. A lot of hospitals are getting these hyperbaric chambers. Does UT Medical Center have a hyperbaric chamber? They do? You know how big it is? Does it 1 or 2 or 3 person or 1 person? Okay. West Germany is treating stroke patients with hyperbaric oxygen, getting incredible recovery from strokes. In England, they're treating multiple sclerosis. They treat all kinds of diseases with hyperbaric chambers. In India, they're treating leprosy, getting incredible results. Here's a kid being treated for cerebral palsy with hyperbaric oxygen. Doctors have discovered if they add more oxygen during surgery when the person's under anesthetic, only half as many patients get infections and only half as many people get nauseated, just by giving the sleeping patient more oxygen. Interesting. There's a chamber in New York that treats autism with hyperbaric oxygen. My friend in Oregon has a hyperbaric chamber. I was out there. He said, Brother Hovland, would you like to try it? I said, yeah. He put me in there, gave me a book to read, said, I'm going to shut the door and pump it up to triple normal pressure. They use the diving terms. You're going to dive to 90 feet. Well, you're sitting right there in the chamber. You don't go anywhere, but it's like scuba diving to 90 feet. He said, now, I'll let you out in about an hour. I was in there breathing pure oxygen for an hour, reading my book, under triple normal pressure. When he let me out, he said, how do you feel? I said, I feel like running around the world. This is incredible. Now, how many of you old-timers, your get up and go done got up and went? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Most exciting thing you can think of is taking a nap Sunday afternoon, right? Man, in the pre-flood world, if they had to double the air pressure and increased oxygen, you would just be full of energy all the time.
Oh my gosh, I would love to try one of those. I don't know if there are any near me or where I'm at. Has anybody ever tried one or know somebody who has? I feel like that sounds so cool and definitely something I would love to try.
Afternoon, people. Have you tried drawing any money, any cash out of the bank recently? I don't mean sticking your card in the wall and trying to draw 200 or 300 or 400 quid out of the cash point machine. I mean actually going into the bank and requesting cash, whether you need £1,000 or £2,000 or £5,000, whatever it might be. Have you tried that? It doesn't happen. They have made it very, very, very difficult, very, very, very painful and uncomfortable even to try and withdraw your own money to spend it from the bank. They ask you, what are you going to do with the money? Why do you want it? Why do you need it? Who are you giving it to? What colour eyes have they got and what the inside leg measurements of the people you're giving it to? What's it for? Why are you drawing cash out? Why didn't you give them notice? Blah, 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 blah. And if you don't answer those questions satisfactorily, computer says no much of the time. It's your money. Why should you have to give them any explanation what you're going to do with your own money? You have no obligation whatsoever to tell anybody what you want to spend your money on. So they're wrong in that respect, sorry. But they're doing it more and more and more and making it more and more and more difficult. Well, in Spain now, it seems they've gone one step further. In Spain, if you want to withdraw 3,000 euros or more in cash, you have to give them 24 hours notice and you have to give them an exact explanation, reason and details of who you're going to give that money to and what you're going to spend it on.
No way.
And if you don't, not only can they say, no, we're not giving you your money, but they can potentially, I don't even know how this works, fine you up to 150,000 euros. You're not mishearing that. That's a law that the Spanish are trying to bring in for their banking system. So they can fine you for not telling them what you want to do with your own money, but not just fine you a little bit of money, 150,000 euros.
You guys, is this for serious? Like, not that I doubt what this guy is saying. Um, I don't know. I don't know. That is really alarming with like 15-minute cities coming, wanting to change the currency over. Like, let me know. Has that happened to you or someone you know? That actually just made me like, I feel like we're not stepping anywhere. We're running full board in the direction, and that is insane.
Rare animals you probably have never seen before. Lion's mane jellyfish. Golden tiger. Volcano snail. Goblin shark.
Ew.
Panda ant.
What?
Atlas moth.
Wow.
Blue-ringed octopus. Glaucus atlanticus. Shoebill. Sea sheep.
No. What?
Okapi.
Wow.
Venezuelan poodle moth.
Oh my gosh. Kind of. Those are all crazy. I don't know why the moth was kind of cute. And never a panda ant. I have seen the octopus, and I only remember that one because it's so deadly. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm always like, oh, something that's pretty. And I remember stories about how dangerous those little octopuses are. So, yeah, a lot of those, no, never. Insane.
The remote laboratory in Phoenix announced this week they have bioengineered a race of 75-foot tall, extremely strong crabs to assist with large construction projects.
What?
An op-ed in the New York Times says, quote, "We have absolutely no reason to be worried about these giant crabs at all." And they do seem as if they'll be very helpful, don't they?
Yes, I don't see why we should be concerned. The scientists who created these huge super crabs have promised there's no way for them to get out of their constraints and turn
harmless.
on their human masters.
Yeah, I trust
Absolutely.
the scientists. Yes. They know what they're doing.
You know, these crabs are going to be great for America's construction projects because I've read that these crabs are so strong that they can lift and throw objects as large as cars and passenger trains.
Absolutely. And, you know, the acid that the crabs shoot from their mouths up to 300 yards. Wow. That is going to be so helpful in melting down loose debris on construction
The
sites.
Wall Street Journal thinks that they are going to be a huge boost to the economy.
Oh, absolutely. I can see the headlines now. Giant crabs descend upon Detroit, rebuild failing infrastructure, and revitalize that downtown. would be so Right? grand.
Happening right now. Okay, yeah, no, I don't believe this crap for a second. I don't know why that's in my feed or how. For a second, the very beginning, I was like, wait, what is happening? No. I mean, if anything, boil, a big crab boil. How and why? I don't know how that got in there. I apologize. I guess that's the joke one for the day. Yeah. All right, you guys, I am going to end it there. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I have got a lot to do to figure out my bear situation, and I will be back on track with these videos and getting those dogs straightened out because the last few days has been so chaotic, but that's okay. Not every day is going to be great. Every day has challenges. Mine are probably different than yours, but we'll talk about that. We will do an evening live and just shoot the bricks. And I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Do not forget to question everything. And until next time, stay safe. Get. Go. Go. Get. Oh my gosh, he's not leaving. You need to go. This guy has got so much nerve.